In 2025, just getting any type of job might not be cutting it. Because if you just get any type of job that's not going to pay your bills and you can sustain your lifestyle or your life, there's going to be two problems. Either you have way too high of a standard of life and you have way too many fancy things, or then the market is just so bad and you can't get a decent paying job. And so in this video, we're going to go over all that, so make sure you stay to the end. I also got two videos of people explaining their situation. And one of them, a woman actually, did her finances, and she's actually a school teacher. And she literally had a meltdown running her own numbers while she was doing it. So crazy stuff. And one of these other ones that I have, the other video, is that this other lady is a stay-at-home mom, and she's a veteran, and she's basically freaking out about her bills because it's keep racking up and she just can't afford to exist inside the United States. So let's jump into the first one and see what this lady has to say.
We're in so much credit card debt that we can't even afford to live. Our mortgage company just upped our monthly bill $400, and we're sitting at like 18 grand in credit card debt. I'll be one of the people crying on TikTok, but like, we're freaking struggling. So if you're new here, my name's Veronica. I'm a 29-year-old stay-at-home mom to 2 under 2. I'm a Navy vet, now a Navy wife. Oh my God. Every single month, we're like scraping the bowl. We're so fortunate and blessed to like have a home. Grateful for that, but like, we're first-time homeowners, and we had no idea all the things that come with it. We bought like a 20-year-old home, things at the point of needing to get replaced. We just had to replace our AC because it took a shit, so that's another 10 grand. Another monthly payment being added on top of the $400 extra for the mortgage company. To say we're struggling is an understatement. Hitting me extra hard today.
So this woman is clearly struggling, and she said that, oh, my house payment went up by $500, and she just can't do it anymore. So this is the case, what I've telling you guys all along. You cannot get into things that you do not understand. Home ownership is very expensive. The only thing that stays the same is the interest rate. And as you saw in two videos that I've made, if you get a flexible arm loan just to get in, it might not even that stay the same. So it is just the world that we're living in, that people get into these houses, they get into these cars with the interest rates that sound nice in today's market, or in whatever it is, and then 6, 7, 8 months, a year down the road, it's not sustainable. And as you said, she's like, oh, I got a $10,000 air conditioner replacement. I got all these other costs associated with it. There is always a holding cost associated with everything. So you need to be aware of, hey, how are my property taxes going to get affected? How are my cost analysis is going to end out if one of my kids has a hospital visit? How is my insurance going to cover me? Do I have enough emergency funds right now to pay for it? And normally Americans do that to some extent till they get a promotion, and then they're like, yeah, you got a promotion, let's go get a new car, let's go do this, let's upgrade that. And then it's back to paycheck and paycheck, even though you got a 10, 15, 20% raise, and you're back to where you were before you got the raise. Now you're just working for the BMW, you're working for the nicer house, you're working for everything that's nicer, but you're still in the race trying to catch up. And I've told a bunch of times on my videos, told the story of, you never want to be playing catch up. You always want to be a little bit ahead of saying, hey, I got my bills covered, I got this covered, I have a nice emergency fund. And people in my video the other day laughed when I said, will you ever retire? And trying to retire and make sure that you have a retirement fund in place. People said they'll never retire. They can't retire. And I still think it's possible. You just gotta sacrifice. And everything in life you need to sacrifice and work hard for. If you want to go to college, there's an upfront cost. Down the road, you're gonna make more money. But Americans want things right this second. And when I look at investing, I look at building businesses, I look at YouTube channels, I look at all kinds of different opportunities and options for paths of careers. With my school community, it always takes time to build up knowledge, to build up a network. You can't just come in and want it today. It takes time to build up, and you need to understand the microeconomics of the situation you're in, what's your surrounding like, and just say, I have to think a little critically, and I might not be as good off as I am. Just because I'm doing well today and I'm walking around, I might get in a car accident. Knock on wood, I'm not going to happen. But then everything changes, and people always say, no, no, this will never happen to me. I'm also never going to get laid off, never get laid off, none of that stuff. And all of a sudden it does hit him. And then you're like, oh boy, I'm in trouble. So if you haven't, please like and subscribe, and make sure that you hit the bell notification. And 80% of you guys are not subscribed yet. So subscribe and you get my videos when I upload them. And now let's watch this other person talk about, she almost had a full-blown panic attack while she was recording this because she figured out some math.
Hey Raf, I'm a teacher and I can barely afford to pay rent with my salary. My salary bi-weekly is basically my rent minus $500. Guess how much my car is? $400. Guess how much insurance is? $100. Oh yeah, that's right. You do the math. I'm left with owing money at the end of the month. That's not even with groceries. Holy sh**. That's not even with groceries. I realize every single month I am transferring money out of savings into my checking, and I am not. Just had the realization in the car that I'm actually going to go into debt if I continue being a teacher. Like, genuinely. Wow. Oh, I'm like literally having a crisis right now. I'm gonna have a panic attack right now. I can't do this. I literally cannot do this. Knowing every single month that most of my money is literally, like, I don't have money. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to pay off my credit card this month. I don't know. All right. Well, rats, peace and blessings. And I hope you can afford your rent today and groceries and your car and insurance and life. Bye.
Did you see her face when she realized, when she did her math the first time, when she realized that life is more expensive than she thought? And then you saw the eye movement. You saw, oh my goodness, I'm actually making way less than I'm spending. And I think a lot of Americans are in that same boat because credit cards hit all-time highs. And you see all these new car lots, they're selling these cars, they're selling these Yukons, they're selling these BMWs, Mercedes, and people don't want to drive cheap cars. No, they want to drive luxury. I deserve it. I've worked hard. And then comes to find out, working hard does not pay the bills. And poor lady actually figuring out while recording a video that her lifestyle is too expensive for what she's making. And that brings me full black. That brings me full circle to the beginning of my video. Just having any type of job isn't sufficient enough. You need to have a high-paying job and provide skills the necessary to pay for your expenses. And now we're back to the beginning where I said you either have two options. Really start winding down your spending, winding down the car, or then see if you can ride the bus, ride a bike, move closer to work, or then upskill and try to move out of that teaching position that you got going on, and trying to find out what can you do to increase income. And I'm always like, I need to make more money. I need to upskill. I need to provide more value. And I read Justine Musk's Reddit thread, and I feel like that Reddit thread taught me more than any high school or any type of college degree that I've got. So she was basically going on and saying that you need to go out and solve big problems to get big money. You solve small problems, you get small money. And that's where I'm starting to get into books of doing atomic habits, becoming 1% better every day, And people ask me now, even on YouTube, how do you become YouTube successful? I say, make 500 videos, and every time you do one video, you improve 1%. See how you're critically, think about your video critically and say, hey, this is how I can make 1% better. Try to cut out the word hey or cut out the word and see how that works, and get into lessons of CapCut or Adobe Premiere. Or if you're like, I want to become a rocket scientist, start studying it, start becoming obsessed about it, and learn something 1% better every day. So back to Justine Musk. So her whole idea has been, you gotta really solve big problems to get big money, and upskill and just use the tools you got to then make it even better. And how do you implement that in your life? It can be with just cutting out going to Starbucks every day for $5. I know it's not much, but hey, you're starting off today and you're becoming 1% better every day. So $5, 5 times a week is some money. It's not a lot yet, but it can then invest you into, it can then slingshot you into other places, because it is not that coffee, that $5 is going to change your life. No, the habits that you're now implementing are going to change your life. So when I'm talking about stuff like that, I'm not talking about, oh my gosh, $100 saved is going to be a huge, huge difference. No, I'm not talking about that. If you're starting to recognize, hey, I can actually skill, I can actually train myself to not do this impulse buy. I can actually go out and be better and actually put and be proud of something that I've cut out. Is it smoking cigarettes? Is it drinking with friends? Is it going to bars? And use that time to network, to get a business going or something like it. And then you will see, hey, I'm actually really proud of myself. It's going to unlock something in you that's going to be really, really cool. But you got to get there first. Because if you're going to have to transfer money from your savings account to your checking account to pay your bills, it's going to really, really stress you out. And I don't want you to be stressed out about your finances. I don't want you to be stressed out about your situation that you got going on. You just got to start really, really reeling it in, staying focused. This is the time of being committed. This is the time where you got to compete with AI. And I hate to say this, but you got to be better than your peers at the office. 2 years ago, I would have said, don't even worry about it. You find another job easily, or 3-4 years ago, find another job easily, and you can show up late, and if they kick you, you'll find another job easily. Now, 800-900 applications in an hour. People are willing to move across the United States to get an opportunity to work for a company that pays good. And so what do? You need to go out and show them that you can do it. And how is that? Well, you got to show up prepared and not show up late. Be courteous. Be nicely dressed. You got to stand out. And hopefully then you can be good at selling. And so once you're mastered selling yourself, because that's what you got to do in an interview, you will then see I've unlocked potential. And then you're off to the races and you will have another job. There's people, I've seen it on TikTok, and you can too, of people taking 3 days to find another job, or 2 weeks, because they're so sought after and they know how to sell and they know how to make an argument for their case. And the world is not fair, because I know people that I've coached, that I've taught to, that have been so smart intellectually in mathematics and programming that I could never ever compete. But since the world makes a lot of things fair, that means that they're not that great of articulating. They're not that great at selling. They're way better at programming than you, but they might not be as good at selling as you are. So you have that advantage. If you're like, I can't compete with all these software developers, well, you might be better at articulating and showcasing your value than somebody that is truly, truly just tech savvy and just knows how to do it and be a super introvert. because there's always a fine line, and depending on the team, they might need somebody like that. And for some teams, it's all about how good can you program, how good can you do it. And so I also get that side. But you don't want to be that person that realizes once you do your finances, oh my gosh, I'm actually losing money going to work. And let me know if that is something that you knew about, that a bunch of Americans are doing. Did you know about it? Because a bunch of people message me and tell me all the time, in my area, there's people all the time in the malls. There's people buying at West Valley Mall in San Jose. It is packed. Yeah, it can be packed, but it doesn't mean that people are doing great. Look at this person. Look at the first person. They're just spending money on credit cards trying to get by. And now the question is that perceived wealth really wealth, or is it just on credit cards? You let me know, because we are sure rolling into some interesting times. And this is 2025, where a lot of people might not be able to keep their houses. As this person first said, she's trying to pay off her house. She's trying to stay in her house and not trying to lose it. So if something else breaks and something else happens, she might be losing her house. And this is never pleasant for the person that is in it, but for people that are really willing to invest, that waited on the sideline and have been eyeing on the market and have been saying, I want to buy, and now house prices are coming down. It's going to be your time. And I always say patience is a virtue. Never hype into something where you don't know what you're getting into. And Warren Buffett always said, when people are fearful, be greedy. When people are greedy, be fearful. And we're starting to see that a lot of people make decisions and make purchases that they cannot sustain right now in 2025. And we're starting to see that the BMW needs to go. The 2022 Yukon that you spent 20 grand over asking price, it's getting repoed back to the bank. And all of a sudden, you can now go in and negotiate like crazy because you're waiting on the sideline. And I've had emails where people messaged me and I said, I am so depressed. And I said, why are you so depressed? Because I'm still sitting on my stimulus money. I haven't used it. I have no debt. I've just been saving, and everybody is buying ATVs, buying boats, buying everything on these monthly payments. And I'm just sitting here and I feel like I'm missing out. And I always said, you just wait. Your time will come. And it is about time for you to pick up these items at a fraction of the discount, because your neighbor next door cannot keep up with the payments. And that is the curse of the small payments for forever. Let me know. Before I end the video, I haven't even made it home yet, and we're seeing stuff becoming on sale. What am I talking about? Talking about RVs like this, bought right before COVID probably, and it is 2019, as you can see, 30,000 miles, 85 grand. List price 2019, and if you'd like to see, you can just come out. I'm telling you, you can negotiate. You can literally negotiate on everything. Now, looks nice. I mean, I used to own an RV. I owned a 45-foot RV for these people that don't know, but it was just too much. I wouldn't even buy it. I wouldn't even consider buying any type of RV, because RVs are just tin cans on the road and everything. When you bumpy roads, everything. Yeah, look at that. If you like to see it, internet ready, has everything, and it looks nice. These people really took care of it. And yeah, diesel coach looks nice. And one more thing, you can negotiate. Haven't even made it home. The toys gotta go. Why do the toys need to go? Because the expenses are too high. They need to free up money, and the COVID stuff is just over. So as you see, the times for these people that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting with money, if you want an RV, something like this might be in your future, because this person, I bet you anything's willing to negotiate like crazy. What you guys think about all this? It's kind of like a little different video, but this is reality for a bunch of Americans. And this was it for this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.